I am joined today with a beautiful man, a gorgeous friend of mine, Ash Rubin. He's also the director of Bloom Festival that you will have seen that I've started talking about on the socials over the last few days. So Ash is joining me live on Facebook this morning to chat all things Bloom and to kind of interview me about the workshop experience that I'll be providing at Bloom. So hello, Ash. How are you today?
Hi, I am good. Thank you for having me on your page. I'm going to talk about some interesting stuff today. We're going to talk about the festival, we're going to talk about community, and we're going to dive into your workshop and the work and the magic that you bring, which I really look forward to learning more about. So I'll give you a quick little snippet about what Bloom is about, and then I really just want to talk about you for a bit. So Bloom is a gathering of people from all over Australia, and it's a gathering of people who are uniting together to create deeper connections and to drop into a shared space of authenticity with people who are really into, like, it's not going to be like the casual chit chat party where you're like getting high and kind of avoiding yourself. It's going to be the really authentic communication and relaxed cuddle puddles of the embodiment people from around Australia. And we're going to bring the fun and the energy and the ecstatic dance and the joy and the freedom of a festival and the depth and the intentionality and the presence of a retreat. And we're going to have this big plethora of workshops that you can try out with some very talented facilitators, including Clare. So yeah, that's what we're in for, and it's basically the birthday party that I wanted to have on steroids with some really amazing people. So that's what we're up for. And Claire, you're going to be running Rock the Stage to Rock Your Love Life, and I'm like curious. Tell me about Rock the Stage to Rock Your Love Life. Like, what is it? Why is it so important?
Well, for people that haven't met me and don't know much about me, I had an acting school for 6 years called Meisner Melbourne. It was a really holistic acting technique that I was teaching called the Meisner Acting Technique, which came from New York acting master Sanford Meisner, who died in the 90s, but he taught a lot of famous actors. And a few people took his technique and then really merged it with spiritual principles, which really resonated with me. And so I was teaching this work in Melbourne, Australia for 6 years. And not only did all of my clients start getting amazing acting gigs, but they all started developing much stronger romantic relationships. And I even now have some marriages that have come through my community. And always everyone was like, it's the exercises that we learn in acting class that actually help us to have more authentic connections with our friends, with our family, with our lovers, and in our sex life. And as I have closed my school and I've moved into being a comedian and a singer and traveling my one-woman show around Australia, which was called the Spiritual Love Gurus, I saw that just my essence and who I am and what I bring to the table brings connection and helps people in their love life without me even like thinking that I'm doing that. And so then I thought, you know what? There's so much that's similar between Tantra principles and spiritual principles and what we learn to be captivating on the stage. And so what I've done is I've mushed and merged my love of comedy, my love of singing and dance, my love of transformation all together with these acting principles that I learned back in London when I was a full-time acting student, and now helping people to have better connections in their life, to embody more parts of who they are and bring more humor, heart, and intimacy into their career and into their romantic relationships. So that is my intention, is to bring a lot of fun, a lot of music, a lot of play, comedy, while also the real depth that you get through these Meisner technique, authentic relating connection exercises.
Gorgeous. That's a beautiful intention. I'm like, I did acting when I was a teenager. I did acting class, but I'd never come across the Meisner technique. I actually know nothing about it. I'm like genuinely curious, like what is the Meisner technique and how does it help people create more connection or authenticity? How does it help you in your love life?
Yeah, so Sanford Meisner taught acting for 40 years to all of these celebrities, all of these people. And he actually found himself in hospital one day and he thought to himself, I need to find a better way for them to be authentic and to connect. And while he was lying in hospital, he came up with these exercises. And the basic exercise is called the repetition exercise. And it's two people standing opposite each other and they're repeating the same thing over and over. And then they start observing each other's behavior. And from that, automatically connection happens, automatically flow happens, automatically you get out of your head and into your body. Automatically you have more humor, automatically you have more intimacy and more heart and more depth. And it's just such simple exercises, but through what I call it as structured improvisation. So you've got these structure for you to actually play in. It's a safe space to actually explore all of these parts of yourself that perhaps out there in the world, and even with your intimate partner, you're a little scared to go. You're scared to really show all parts of who you are. And these exercises give you a really safe space and give you permission to explore those. So then you can go out and actually bring them into your sex life, into your love life, and into your career. And if you are a facilitator, coach, artist, performer, which I'm sure that a lot of the people at Bloom Festival are going to be, it just helps you to be able to connect more to that invisible space between you and the audience, so you can really connect to God and to your creative inspiration and really flow moment to moment. And that's the whole point of the exercises, is to really learn how to truthfully be in the moment, like work with exactly the energy of the audience that you've got, or in a romantic relationship, the partner that you've got, because this partner is not the same as they were yesterday. This partner is not the same in the bedroom as your last partner. You have to navigate everything day by day and moment by moment. And we can get stuck in patterns of how to relate, how to have sex, how to be on stage. And so right now I'm tuning into how I'm feeling in the moment, which is a little nervous. I've got a bit of anxiety in my stomach, while also putting my attention onto my computer, onto the screen, onto you, Ash, like looking at you in your eyes and really taking in my whole environment, so that I can explore new parts of myself in the moment. So that is what these exercises do. They're really hard to explain, as I'm sure most embodiment practices are. You've got to experience them to really realize the power of them. But these experiences totally changed me from being, I was addicted to hiding. I'm sure that you know my story, Ash, and most of my audience, that I was born with only one breast. And I never told anyone because I was so ashamed. But these exercises broke me down and got me to the point where I wanted to share my story with the world. And once I actually started sharing my story of having Poland syndrome and only developing one breast, then I was more free in my love life, in my sex life, and then being able to continue using these acting principles that I'd learned over in London. It's just made all areas of my life just have so much more magic and spontaneity and play.
Yeah, I think I'm getting it. I think I'm understanding how it, like, how the acting techniques translate to just self-expression throughout your whole life. Like, as an actor, you embody different roles and you embody different parts of your personality, and you like stretch and grow and expand who you can be. And that's something that we all want to do in different parts of our lives. Like maybe we want to be more authentic with our partners. to create more intimacy, or maybe we want to be more confident on stage and more radiant or more alive, to grow our businesses or to impact and inspire people. So I can see how borrowing from the acting domain is such a powerful personal development practice. And that piece about really being present to the moment, not like thinking or working out from a script, but actually being that thing rather than just thinking about it, enables us to meet the moment and be super spontaneous and responsive and present to the environment rather than in a concept of what we should be. Is that what we're moving towards? Like, am I understanding what it is?
Yeah, so most people think that actors are acting, and we get taught, you know, we don't want to be acting, we want to be authentic. But there's a New York acting studio where the sign on the front door is "No acting, please." And that acting's not about acting. Acting's about actually connecting to all of the authentic parts within you that we all have, you know, a Mary inside of us. We all have a Hitler inside of us. We all have all of these characters inside of us. And the role of an actor is to not judge the character. And so when you get a script as an actor, you have to say, where is this inside me? What am I going to have to access? And for a lot of actors, that takes a lot of work to be able to actually not judge the character. And so what these exercises really help you do is to stop judging parts of yourself, stop judging other parts of other people's personalities, and actually see them all as beautiful, all as relevant. And when you actually let go of the judgment, that is where the play is. I mean, in acting classes that I was doing in London, there were people that personally outside the acting room really shit me. And I was just like, I can't stand this fucking person. But then get us in an acting exercise and just putting all of that aside and actually just being in the moment. Every single person, whether they were a 20-year-old man to a 75-year-old woman, I could find myself attracted by them. I could find myself turned on by them. I could find myself feeling deep love and intimacy, because also as an actor, you have to be open to be able to love everyone and to be able to be turned on by everyone. Like, as a woman, I've played lots of love scenes opposite other women, and I am straight, but in the moment, I'm totally turned on and in love with this person. And it's amazing. And that is why so many people have come to my classes and, you know, fallen in love. And I'm like, no, you've got to make sure, though, this isn't just the work. And you actually have similar values and you want to create the same thing in your life. So, but as I said, I've had 2 marriages that have come from this work. So if you actually connect in the work plus outside the classroom, then, you know, other magic can unfold as well.
Yeah, gorgeous. Yeah, I love that. The idea of expanding the range of choices that we can make in life and ways of being authentically. I love that. And I've got a couple of interesting questions. So one is like in your own intimate, so you've just been engaged, right? Is that right? Or just married?
I don't have the ring. It doesn't fit. It's getting resized. But I just got proposed to on stage by my partner, Ozalima, 5 years, which is very exciting.
You're getting married. Congratulations. That's beautiful. So like, how has this work influenced your relationship? What impact has it had?
Yeah, well, what's interesting is that when I closed my acting school down, because after 6 years, it was a really successful business. I was running 1-year programs, and I decided to leave on a high because I had a real hit that the business, I was married to the business pretty much. It was my everything. I gave everything to my students and to my clients, and I just lived this work day in, day out. But I realized, one, I needed to have more space to just bring the work into my life, my work into a relationship, my work into a one-woman show. And so when I actually did start my relationship with my partner, you know, I'd just been in the juice of this work for a long time. And I closed the business down. And as I got into my relationship, and I'd stopped practicing the work so much because I didn't have my community to do it with, I actually did see my own relationship suffering because of it. I realized that, oh my God, I'd stopped doing the work. And even though I was trying to put these practices and techniques into my performing and into my relationship just through my everyday life, I realized that it still wasn't as potent as actually just doing the damn exercises. Like you
Mm.
couldn't replace doing the exercise. It's like you can't stop brushing your teeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I realized as an artist, I couldn't stop doing these exercises. And what's really, interesting at the moment, to be really vulnerable, is that my partner and I are looking at, having a family soon. And I don't want our sex life to be about, from day 11 to 15 in the cycle, we
Yeah.
have sex and we might create a baby. I want our sex life to be about the magic of our sex life. And so we're actually now making a commitment to doing these acting exercises, just us at home, a few times a week. And I have just seen myself change. Also, I'm just so much more excited about intimacy with my partner, because, after 5 years, you can be kind of like, this is
Yeah.
my best friend and we create this life together, but it doesn't have that newness anymore. And what's great about these exercises is it brings you back into the newness.
Mm.
And so what we've done is we're saying, look, we're just taking sex off the table for a bit, and we're actually going to just explore these exercises again, which is perfect timing because I'm obviously coming to this festival and teaching these exercises and bringing this work back into the world.
Yeah.
So it's just totally changed, and just seeing how much more vulnerable and tender my own partner is after we do these exercises together, because we have at times just got into patterns with each other, and it just totally breaks the patterns and brings you back into this new moment with this person. And I'm seeing him with totally different glasses.
Yeah, that's it. It's like our personalities go on autopilot in long-term relationships. It's like we fall in the path of least resistance. That's pretty good. Unless we're like intentionally like breaking down who we are, who we were, so that we can choose who we are moment by moment. There's real power in that.
Yeah, because we just have an amazing life because we both really intentionally create our dream life together. And we have just so much fun and play and thing in our lives. But sometimes we can forget to bring that just back to us
Yeah.
and just our intimacy between us. And now that we've just got a new puppy as well, it's like all of a sudden, like I've got a three-way happening, all the time.
Yes.
Because the dog's just always wanting to be in the bed. The dog's always wanting to be on the couch. And so now even more, we have to actually schedule in time to do these exercises, schedule in time to give each other massages, schedule in time to bring the intimacy back into our life in a new way. Because it's because it's new now. Now we have a puppy. It's just new. So we have to work. How does our love life work with having a puppy? Because if we also have a child, how does our love life work with having a child? How do we still have the intimacy? How do we still have the romance? How do we still have all of the humor and heart that we did before the puppy and before the child? And I know it will change, but I don't want to also lose the magic that we have cultivated over the last 5 years.
It kind of seems like these Meisner practices, like, because I think, you want to invest in the bank of your intimacy and your relationship and put in and build goodwill, and it can start to feel like a chore, right? And I'm curious about, like, I imagine these Meisner practices bring you back into the moment, and it's not about, there's maybe like a greater depth of honesty or authenticity that like, and maybe it stops becoming a burden. in some way. But I'm curious, like give me an example of a practice and how
Yeah,
that
well,
works.
I'm just thinking about how in class there's obviously boundaries. For example, in acting class, there's no touching each other's genitals, there's no touching each other's butt, there's no kissing past 5 seconds. Like there is some like classes where there's the boundaries, like there's no kissing, but when I'm working with actors, a lot of the time they're wanting to be open to kiss other people in scenes, so they want to learn that. So depends with the group who I work with where the boundaries are. But what's been fun is having those boundaries with my partner in the exercises where we get to call the truth. Like, for example, if he's turning me on in the moment, instead of me just jumping him, I'm just saying truthfully in the moment, you're turning me on. And he's repeating back, I'm turning you on. You're turning me on. I'm turning on. Making me feel excited. I'm making me feel excited. But we're not actually going and having sex. We're not actually doing the things. We're actually talking about it, which actually builds it up and can turn to something else. Because then in the next moment, might be feeling fucking frustrated. And so then I get to call that. And so what happens is we get to actually go through the full palette of colors of our emotions. Well, a lot of the time in romantic relationships, you can block out a lot of the emotions because you can just go have sex, or you can kiss, or you slam the door on each other, or you hang up the phone on each other. While we invite all of it into the space during this exercise, so all of our emotions can be expressed. And then at another time, we can go and move that into lovemaking, kissing, whatever it is. But this is this space for us to just really call the truth of the moment without a story connected to it. This isn't, I'm feeling angry because you didn't make me dinner the other night. This is just what's happening in the moment, which is to me so powerful.
Yeah. I get it. It's the opposite of performing. It's like dropping more into your honest truth.
Yeah, it's Dropping the Mask, which was actually the name of my very first show that I did. And, ironic with what's been going on, in this climate where I'm just like, everything's about dropping the mask. And so, these exercises really help us to drop the layers, connect to different archetypes within us that maybe we don't get to explore every day. And what I love is when you get into the classroom and we do this one exercise where there's these 2 circles where you get to play off all these different people, and you get to see how each person makes you feel and act and behave totally differently to the last person, and how every single person has magic to give you in your life. And it just opens you up in your life to being more receptive to the world, to a range of people, different cultures, different ways of being, because at the end of the day, we're all the same. We all have these things within us, and they're just so relatable in these exercises.
And I love that in the context of a festival, because like at a little intimate festival, you're going to bump up against all these like quite exciting, interesting people, and it can be quite intimidating to go up and talk to them. But like in a context like this, where you're encouraged to really step out of your comfort zone and meet people, it's a beautiful bridge for connection.
I have seen so many people with social anxiety change their relationship with social anxiety through doing these exercises. I mean, me included, I am actually a really socially anxious person. Because I'm used to always being the leader and being on the stage, but then get me into a festival where I'm just part of the community. It's taken me years and years to really drop all the masks to just be able to be in community. And it's thanks to doing this kind of work that I can see everyone is exactly the same and there's no hierarchy. And that is what I think is what you're also wanting to create at this festival. Why I think I also felt so inspired to be part of it is that I feel like there's going to be some really, powerful people facilitating and performing. But at the end of the day, no one's better than the other. And
Yeah.
everyone has all of these emotions. We all have these masks, and it's just out for the world to see. And yeah, I'm just really excited
Yeah.
also just to meet new people. There's all these people that I know are going to this festival that I'm friends with on Facebook and maybe seen passing at a party or something, but not actually got to have like deep conversation and also get to share my work and my genius. So I'm just feeling so bloody excited about it.
Thanks, darling. Thank you. Yeah, I want to speak to that. I had a thought in the shower today about like what makes a community that enables self-actualization. Like what, like in a practical, earthy way, not in a lofty, vague way. Like what makes a good community? And the reason why I was thinking that is because I've like tried out different communities and they bring different parts of me out. Um, and I've been in communities that are very ambitious and they celebrate my power. And when I'm succeeding, they're like, yeah, that's awesome. But the vulnerability of me gets left behind. It's like, yeah, I'm thriving, but I'm terrified. And I don't have anyone to talk to about that because they don't know how to meet that
Mm.
part of the human experience. And then I've been in communities that are very much permissive and like accepting and loving and nurturing. But when I want to be in my power and my strength, that's like a little bit intimidating. And so, and it's so much the people who we surround ourselves with, they bring out different parts of us. And I think it's really valuable and important to consciously choose which communities we're a part of. Because who do we want to be? Who do we want to surround ourselves with? Which parts of ourselves do we want to draw out? And the community that I've discovered and that I'm nurturing and creating just another place for is one that has a real deep acceptance of the full spectrum of emotion. It's like we can be vulnerable, we can be strong. There's going to be multimillionaires there, and there's going to be people on Centrelink. And it's like that's where the magic happens. Because how to put this? The aspirational communities, like a lot of the coaching communities, like, yes, I'm amazing, 10K months, 10K months. It can feel a little bit hollow. It can feel a little bit performative. It's like, yes to the power, but where is your, there's like an emotional core that seems to be missing there. And then these like deeply vulnerable, supportive, nurturing, deeply feeling groups that I've been a part of. And then where's the fire? Where's the warrior? You know, and I found myself in a group of people that seems to have both quite a bit, and it creates this rich, robust, diverse, masculine, feminine, united together kind of energy, where you can cry in the corner and you can get up on stage. You can do both. You can have all of it, and there's such a permission. It's like self-acceptance. I can be who I am in this space. I can gravitate to the powerful people and feel how it feels to be among the powerful. I can gravitate to the mamas and the babies and feels what it feels like to be a mama or be a baby. And there's like this rich ecosystem of different archetypes and characters emerging around this festival. Yeah, that's like that's really exciting for me. I think that's fertile ground for a transformational space of a few days where you can step out of your life for a little bit and try on some new hats, some new ways of being. And that's part of the reason why you're facilitating. It's why we've brought you in here, because you help people do that in such a powerful, inspiring way. Like I see your passion for this work. It's so special. So yeah, thank you for leading the charge on that. And I'm like really excited to have you here at the festival as well.
Well, thank you so much for listening to the call of creating this. I really believe that when our heart wants to create something, it isn't a selfish act. It's actually because the community, other people are asking for that to be created. So I am sure that all of the people that are facilitating and all the people that are coming, along to the festival are feeling some kind of call and desire for what you're creating. And I love that you're really opening it to be a co-creation. And that just feels really, really special. So I feel, yeah, really blessed to be part of this team. I mean, the facilitators that you've got are amazing. I've done workshops with a lot of them, and there's also some that I'm just really excited to meet and learn from. And same with performers like Murray Kyle, like I love Murray Kyle and Mark DJing. And yeah, I'm just so excited about all the performers and volunteers and emotional support that you've got, ESPs. So yeah, it looks like you've looked at everything and really trying to create an inspirational, entertaining and educational experience, which is, they're my 3 words. Like, my work is inspirational, entertaining and educating. And so anything that has all those 3 encompassed in it, I mean, just bring it on.
Yeah, that's it. It has all 3. That's exactly it. I love that. Beautiful. If someone's considering coming to the festival and they're like unsure, what message do you have for them?
Well, I'm thinking about me with festivals, because there's lots of reasons that I don't go to festivals. So I can talk to those sort of things that could be things that come up for others. One could be social anxiety, and that you're scared that maybe you don't know many people there. And so the first thing that I would say is this is going to be a space that is going to be welcoming to you, and to meet people, or, you know, invite some friends along and come with your friends, like have your own little posse and come along and spread your wings together, because sometimes it is easier to bring a few people with you and then fly together and meet new people. So, but just knowing that social anxiety is just totally welcome at this space, and watch it transform throughout the time of the festival as well. Another thing, another reason I can sometimes not go to festivals is because of food. And that's actually because I do eat meat, and most festivals I go to are all vegan. And so people really laugh at me when they say, "Oh, why didn't you go to that retreat?" And I said, "I just didn't think there would be anything for me to eat." And so I saw that your dinner that you're serving at the festival, like, it has all 3, doesn't it?
Yeah. There's meat. It's going to be delicious. Hannah Tui is our chef. She's super talented. She comes from families of, like, she has family gatherings of well over 100 people routinely, and they cook together. They cook amazing meat dishes, and vegetarian and vegan. There's going to be the whole. Your catering needs will be well taken care of. And we're also going to have food vans. So there's feast for dinner, and we're going to have food vans serving food throughout the day as well. So
yeah, and obviously people can bring their own food as well, because it's only a few days. So yeah, you can bring. So for me, the food element, you know, I know this sounds like funny things, but they're actually reasons why people don't go to a festival. And I guess another thing, a lot of maybe reasons why some people might not go, is they feel like they won't get enough sleep. And so they just think, you know, music's going to be playing all day, all night. So I'd be interested to hear from you, Ash. Like, what's your vision with the music and the entertainment?
I want people to leave the festival feeling refreshed and ready to jump back into life. I don't want you to need a holiday after your holiday. So we've got the music switching off at 11 every night. No amped music. There might be like some acoustic jamming in some of the public spaces after 11, but there won't be any amped music. So in the campsites and in the dorms, there's all different kinds of accommodation as well. They're going to be super quiet. You'll get a great night's sleep. In the forest, that's the other thing. It's like there's a beautiful waterfall in the background. There's a creek that you can swim in. There's going to be like a warm fire. All the spaces are going to be heated. This is like, if you're in the middle of winter and you want some emotional and physical warmth among a beautiful community, then come out, get your serotonin fix. Get your vitamin D fix if you're in Sydney or Melbourne and it's cold and you want to come up to somewhere warmer. It's going to be a really lush, like physically, sensually nurturing experience.
Well, that's another reason why, I mean, the very first festival I went to was 5.5 years ago, was Confest. And oh no, I went to Renaissance, but Confest was my first sort of big festival. And I was so nervous because I'd never pitched a tent before. And so I know there's even people out there that are like, I don't really want to necessarily rough it and pitch a tent. And what I love with this is there's all these different choices, is that you can pitch a tent. You can do what my partner and I are doing. We're glamping because we usually pitch a tent. So we're like, well, let's just lush it up a little. But you've also got cottage options. And I just love that there's that range as well, so that people perhaps that usually rough it up might be like, you know what, I'm not going to rough it up this time. I'm actually going to do it a bit more lush. And then other people might be like, you know what, I just want to pitch a tent.
Yeah, there's all those options. We're taking care of everyone. We're looking after you. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, Claire.
And I'd also just say, come to bring more humor, heart, and intimacy into your life, into your relationships. I mean, obviously that's what the intention of my workshop is, but I just feel like that's going to be a great intention, you know, for me with the whole festival and for people that are coming, just to bring more joy, play, connection, and depth into all areas of their life.
Totally. It's going to be a feast for the soul. Come get your fill.
I love it.
Cool. Well, I don't have any other questions. Feels like really solid to me. Do you have anything else you want to share?
I just want to say a huge thank you to you, Ash. I just want to say a huge thank you for coordinating this, creating this, feeling the call, taking the inspired action. I know for someone who has run many events, I've run retreats, I've done all the things, and it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of trust that it'll all come together. And I just love who has seemed to come around you to support this fire to, you know, continue to grow, and all this flower to bloom, you know.
Yeah, look, it's easy to get stuck in the numbers of it, but when I look at the list of people who are coming already, like, it's going to be a really powerful experience, and I'm personally very much looking forward to it. So if ever I'm out of trust, I just imagine what it's going to be like, and it just this is going to be good.
Yeah, just being in your end result of what you want to create. You always have to go back to. That's what I had to do with my 40th. I just had to keep seeing this end result of what I wanted to feel like in the room with all of these random people from all areas of my life all coming together. And then I just kept seeing the end result, and hey, just never saw that I was also going to get proposed to on the stage. And I'm sure that's what's going to happen for you, is you're going to have
that was unplanned.
All the things you imagine, and all these surprises will come. And I'm sure that'll be for everyone. They'll come thinking they're coming for one thing, but they'll leave with something totally different.
Yeah, maybe I'll get proposed to on stage.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, Oz and I got together at a festival like this in a workshop, like my workshop. So come and do my workshop, and you just never know who you might meet.
Yes, I love that. Okay, thank you, darling.
Yeah, I just want to also say to anyone that's watching, feel free to ask any questions in the comments. And if you do want more information about Bloom, want a cheeky discount, like just feel free to message me, let me know. And I'd love to chat to you more about this festival and my offering. So feel free to ask me any questions. Definitely follow Ash on all the socials, on Instagram and on Facebook, and continue to, look at what this festival could be that we could all create together.
Yeah, if you're curious about how to learn more, there's a Facebook event, there's a website. Claire, you'll put all the details in the post, in the description for this.
Yeah.
And you can learn more, or just shoot a message to Claire. Thank you, darling.
Mwah.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.